How's it going, everyone? My name is Logan Friedel, student athlete for Winnemac High School, and you're listening to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Sanders Foods. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it at your hometown grocery store. First Federal Savings Bank. They don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Riverside Rentals. Discover canoeing, kayaking, and lazy river tubing right here in Winnemac. Action Plumbing and Heating for all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Been serving people since 1994. And now, the voice of the Winnemac Athletic Podcast, Justin Ruff.
Hello. Welcome back to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast, episode 42. And today, super excited to get things going for you today. We have a beautiful, if I should say myself, a beautiful episode throwing at you today. We have 3 head coaches in the spring sports jumping on with us today, recapping their 2025 season. And the first one will be the head coach for our boys track team, and Coach Bryce Kappas. He will go through what happened last week at regionals, kind of walk through sectionals a little bit as well, and he will talk about his 2024-25 season in the wrap. So we will have him on. Again, we had 5 regional qualifiers, and he will talk about all that fun stuff today on this episode. Right after him, we will have the head coach for our Winnemac girls softball team, and Coach Jen Belcher. She'll be joining us as well, recapping last week's sectional game when they lost to Jimtown 7-1. And then she'll recap their season. Overall, a beautiful season for Coach Jen Belcher and our Winnemac Lady Warriors. We will have her up second. And then last but not least, we'll have the head coach for our Winnemac boys baseball team. He will also have a recap of his season. He'll talk about last week as well in sectionals going up against Bremen, and then talk about his team, his 2025 season. And again, him and his boys also had a pretty awesome year. We do have one more sport still at it in this 2024-25 season. That will be Coach Jeremy Shell on the Winnemac boys golf team. They had pretty much senior night last night going up against the Mott Christian, and they did end up beating them their last meet on their home course. But I'll tell you what, this weekend is a big one. Their last one, possibly their last meet, this Friday at 9 a.m. They travel to Logansport, and there are 11 teams in this sectional. We'll break it down a little bit here briefly. 11 teams in this sectional going at Logansport this Friday at 9:30 a.m. It features Caston, Frontier, Logansport, North Newton, Pioneer, Rochester, Rensselaer, South Newton, Tri-County, Twin Lakes, and of course the big one in Winnemac. There's 3 teams advanced to regionals, and I was communicating with Coach Shell, communicating with some others out there, being involved in golfing as well. Logansport's pretty darn good. Twin Lakes right behind them. So either one of those 2 teams will win, and one of those 2 teams will get second. That's 2 spots right there, team-wise, that will possibly, in prediction, of course, anything can happen. Wild things can happen. But prediction-wise, those 2 teams will advance. That leaves one more spot available, advancing team-wise to regionals. And from the information that I have gathered, it pretty much comes down to 4 teams. Rochester fighting for that 3rd spot team-wise. Pioneer, they're in there as well. Rensselaer has a pretty good squad, and you can throw us in there as well. 4 teams fighting hard for that 3rd available spot. And of course, they're fighting also for those first two. Logan Sport and Twin Lakes, they could choke and fall in the bucket. We don't know. But right now, those four teams, we've seen Rochester a lot this year. We've battled with them. We've battled a lot with Pioneer. They got us in conference a couple weeks ago. But I did communicate with Coach Shao. He said that easily could have been reversed. They could easily golf a lot better than what they did in conference. So this is their opportunity. Friday morning, they already got 5 in the lineup. It's Braden Hines, the senior. We got Gardner as well. Talon Gardner, the other senior, then the juniors, third. Well, Logan Friedel, he's joined them, and then Will Barrows, he's joined them as well. And then the fifth one is the freshman in Jaden Beckner. That is our 5 members, our 5 athletes, our crew heading to Logansport this Friday. So good luck to our Warriors, Coach Shell, and those 5 golfers. Big one at Logansport this Friday. So like I mentioned, we have a lot to talk about. We have 3 guests joining us today. The first one is the head coach for our Winnemac boys track team, and Coach Bryce Kappas. He is up deck. Hey, you're doing it. You're listening to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast.
If you're interested in becoming a sponsor for the Winnemac Athletic Podcast, please reach out to us on our social media for more details on how you can support both the podcast and our athletic program.
Hey everyone, this is Dylan Guilford, student athlete at Winnemac, and you're listening to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome back to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast. Today, super thrilled to welcome back the head coach for our Winnemac boys track team, and Coach Bryce Kappas. How's it going, Coach?
Everything's going really well, Justin. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm sure you're doing better because you're at school now. No school for you.
It is the perk of the job, I'll tell you that.
There you go. There you go. But Coach, we got some stuff to talk about. You just had some players moving on to regionals. We haven't had you on, Coach, since you were talking about your conference championship. You've had sectionals since then. You guys finished third, and you advanced, I do believe, 5 athletes to regionals.
Correct.
Can Coach just talk about what happened at regionals at Valparaiso?
Yeah, we went to Valparaiso. Surprisingly, Chesterton won that regional. I thought it was the Maryville invite, seeing some of the kids they had up there. But our guys represented Winnemac really, really well. We had 5 guys in 6 events. So we were able to go up there and kind of show off what we had. Just kind of walking through the guys. Aiden Taylor, I would have expected him in sectionals to make it out in pole vault, but he actually made it out in long jump. And he showed really well. He had a PR, 1910 at the regional. Real tough regional for the long jump this year. We had 5 guys who made the state standard to move on. So that was impressive to watch. And I think he learned and got to see a lot there that he can transfer in. He's only a junior, so he gets another opportunity next year.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, all these guys I'm talking about today are only juniors. Ethan Burgess, then he would step up and run the 200 trials, and he displayed pretty well. Got to learn a little bit about what some other speed at the regional might look like. I don't think it really surprised him how it went, but he ran a good race overall. Our next event then would be Ethan Burgess again. He also made it in the 400. That's really his best event. And I thought he ran a really, really smart race there. He would end up finishing 13th overall, but the way he ran that race is how we have been trying to develop our 400 runners, in that he comes off of the turn 3 in just an absolute full sprint. He's as strong as he could possibly be at that time. And I really was proud of him and how he stood up to that. 400, I think he was proud of his effort. He ran a PR as well. That I felt like that really capped his season off in the best way possible. And then we had our 2 distance runners, Logan Friedel and Nathan Pierce-Chowski. They ran in the 3200. They had a goal of sub 10. They came just short of it, but they ran really hard. believe Nate finished 15th and Logan finished 11th. Logan was feeling pretty down. Wasn't feeling the best in that morning. But either way, both guys showed up, did what they had planned on doing. Fell short of a goal, but either way, they still ran really well. And lastly, we had Charles Dysinger. And he's kind of been the highest performing in any event, and that's the shot put. He went in as ranked 5th. We were kind of hopeful to sneak into that top 3 and send him on to state. He ended up finishing 5th, and the 4 guys that were ahead of him definitely threw better than he did, but he was able to go in there, show what he's got, compete with the best in Indiana, and I believe great things are coming for Charlie in the future. And just one little side note on that, the winner of that threw a 62, which is just an impressive shot put. So I'm glad he was around that. He got to see that. He got to feel what that was. And again, all these guys are juniors, and I think this regional experience will only carry them on to their senior year as I get them back for track. I know they do multiple of other events or other sports, but once they're back in track, I think they'll know, more what to expect and more what to do when we're working out and getting ready for this time next year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, you've mentioned that I love the fact that they're all juniors qualifying to this regional, seeing this up front, especially with Dysinger. I know he was at this point last year, and I was looking in regionals, and I was looking to see where he placed last year, and I looked like he placed 10th last year in regionals, and this year's I think he threw a 44 mark, and then this year he did a 51.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that's a pretty big jump, and we talked about it before, Coach, and before the season even started. Just the work ethic this guy has done in the off season, and I guarantee you he is going to be doing the same thing this season heading into his senior year. I guarantee it.
Oh, I guarantee it too. And Charlie, he comes from this line of guys that just flat out work. Started with our seniors this year. We had guys that really showed the path of what it takes to work, and Charlie's been no absent out of that as well. He has absolutely shown all the throwers what it takes to get where it goes. He made decisions over in the off season to trim down and bulk up his body, and all that has paid off for him. And he's got his eyes set on, future continuing this on. And I believe that Charlie can do that. But, it really comes back to this work ethic that's been going on over the past couple of years of guys just owning their event, getting better every day. And, when that kind of stuff happens, that's how we have such a successful night.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we definitely need more of that, I do believe, through every sport. That's awesome. Well, let's talk about your team a little bit, Coach. I know you had a pretty good senior class, and we talked about them. I do believe last time we had you on, you have some holes to fill, but like you mentioned, along with these regional qualifiers, you have a big chunk returning this year. And I know, even, the freshman class, I really think catches my eye. I know you had Hayden Taylor. He did a bunch of 100 stuff. But right behind him in that freshman class, Evan Burgess, I saw his name a lot in the 100, and his numbers not too far away from Hayden. And just some other guys, Hector Gallegos, really stepping in for you this year, I feel like. And Hunter Haschel learning behind Dysinger is an awesome thing. Let's talk a little bit about your team, Coach, and how you feel like they did this year overall.
Yeah, we'll start with the young guys, and I'm so proud of them, how they came in, how they work, how they listen. There was I talked about this with Andy in one of our meets. I said, have we ever had a group that just is in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing all the time? And he's like, we've had some pretty good groups. And I said, but I think this group has just been the best at it. And that was kind of the staple of the season. These new guys that came along, we need them. We need them to grow. We need them to continue on the successes that we have going on. And, Evan has definitely been a highlight. I see his high jump going places. He's very flexible. He works hard. He listens. He has got speed inside of him. We just need to get those legs turning a little quicker. Caleb Tate, he was a phenomenal pickup this year. We call him the Red Rocket. He is just as fast as lightning, and polished him up a little bit. We've got someone who is a core to this team moving forward. Hector has grown in so much self-confidence, just understanding he can do this and that he is going to be good as time goes by. You know, what a great freshman year. And he's starting to eyeball the 400 and the 800 in the future, and I
there you go
that there coming forward. All of these guys that are contributing to what is going to be the new group moving forward is very exciting to see. Hunter Hassel, I want to talk about how he adapted, knowing that he needed to be outside working with Charlie. He stayed every practice. As long as Charlie was out there, he was out there, and that shows tremendous growth there. And as he gets older and realizing that his frame is just perfect for being a dominant thrower, and his mentality is also there as well. I believe with him and Jonathan Klett coming back and being behind Charlie and showing these younger guys, whoever they may be coming up, how to do things is just nothing but positive for us.
Right. It's crazy. I mean, just seeing all the, younger guys possibly returning. I know your long distance too, Friedel and Nathan. I mean, like, heck, that's, returning those guys are huge. And, to add on top of this, the new class coming in, 8th grade, I mean, heck, they had a pretty good year in middle school this year with Coach Day winning that conference as well with them. And I've heard good things about that 8th grade class coming up. So you throw in that class with these group of guys, it's pretty good things right now on paper, Coach. I like it.
I do too. That the boys won the conference down in the middle school. They were well coached, and they seem to be as excited about track as some of these other guys I have right now. And so, yeah, the future is looking pretty bright.
Yep, don't screw it up. I mean,
that's always yeah.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I mean, you didn't screw it up this year. I mean, you guys had a really good year, conference champions last time you've had it. It was back in 2022. You advanced 5 qualifiers to regionals, and what was your overall record? You told me
22-11.
22-11. So again, I put this down as a very good year for you guys, and I can only see it going out here from now. It's fantastic. Well, Coach, do you have any last words for us?
Yeah, the only thing I want to recap is how important these seniors were to me. Logan Marlowe, Raiden Riddle, Camden Long, and Dylan Guilford. Just the work that these guys put in, the teammates that they were, everything about how they held this program together through their years with me, I really appreciate. I'm going to miss those guys. They're hard. It's hard to talk about, to be honest with you, without, choking up a little bit, because I watched guys get a lot better. I mean, they were young coming in, and then they started seeing their own confidence. They started seeing their own successes, and it's just fun to watch, young men become older men and before they leave us. And so I'm just so proud of those guys, and they will always have a place here for our Winamac track team.
That's great. That's great to hear. And you mentioned it in the beginning of the year, how important it is to have good leadership as athletes, because track has a lot of athletes. And,
Yep.
Even with your boys' team, you need some help, believe it or not. And having some good athletes that are leaders and captains, it plays a big impact. And I do believe it was huge this year for your squad. Love it.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, Coach, I can't thank you enough. We wrapped up our first season working together. We did awesome. I can't thank you enough for working with me and this schedule. Can't wait to talk to you again, Coach.
Yeah, I always enjoy this, and I'm really appreciative of what you do for Winamac Athletics.
Hey, thanks a lot, Coach. That was the head coach for our Winnemac boys track team, Coach Brett Keffis. We will be right back. Hey, you're doing it. You're listening to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Corinne Combs, student athlete for Winnemac High School, and you're listening to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome back to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast today. Super thrilled once again to welcome our head coach for our Winnemac Lady Warriors softball team and Coach Belcher. How's it going, Belcher?
Hey, it's going pretty good, Justin. How you doing today?
I am great. It is summertime for you.
It is.
You. No school. You're free right now.
Yes, I am. Yep, no school to go to, so that's kind of nice. And the weather's getting warmer. It is summer for me.
So are you just outside right now with some lemonade just on a lawn chair?
No, not quite that nice. You know, I actually, Justin, when the season gets over, there are so many things that I am behind on. You know, I'm lucky during the season to keep up on the schoolwork and my laundry so I can close the school. So there are other things around the house I'm catching up with.
Yep, this is catch-up time for you right now.
That's right.
Well, let's us up on the season here a little bit, a little season recap. Before we do that, though, let's talk about sectional time. Last week, so you guys traveled to Bremen. You took on Jimtown. If you can, Coach, give us a recap on that game. I know your offense couldn't really get things going that night, but if you can, Coach, let's talk about that game a little bit.
Yeah, just what you mentioned, Justin, we started that game and Jimtown got on the board early. We were able to hold them to just a couple runs there early, and we're hopeful that our bats could come through. We had an opportunity, I think it was in the bottom of the second, maybe the third, where we had bases loaded and had an opportunity to score, and just couldn't come up with that big hit when we needed it. We did get one run across the board, and we're able to get a couple other runners on base throughout the game, but just really couldn't get the bats going. Didn't have a lot of strikeouts in that game, so we were putting the ball in play. We just couldn't find the holes and couldn't get the runs across that we felt that we needed. And then Jimtown was able to score a few more runs late, and that game ended up 7-1.
And I guarantee you, every season's like this, Coach. Every season after the game, it's just heartbreaking, disappointment, and just sadness. I feel like, especially with this senior group, it's a big senior group for you and Combs, Walters, and Bruce there. I'm sure there was some tears shed. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and you're right. It's always hard, and it's especially hard when you're coming off a season where the team has felt some success and they have high expectations. And we definitely had that. We thought going into the sectional that we had a really good opportunity to maybe win a couple games and come away with the sectional championship. So you're right. When that doesn't happen, it's a tough night. And, from the coach's perspective, first of all, if they're sad and upset and disappointed, to me that means that it meant something to them. I mean, I hate that we have those emotions, but it means something when they're hurting a little bit. And then I guess the second thing is, when you have a good season like we did, a season where we felt the kids really gave it everything they had and won a conference championship, then we try to emphasize those positive things and let them know, there are a whole lot of teams out there that would like to be where you are right now, even with the defeat in the sectional.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing to hang your hats on at all, especially your players, Coach. I mean, you had, like you mentioned, a heck of a good year. 20-7 was your overall record, 20 wins, and first 8-0 in conference, Coach, first title since 2017. And I'm gonna stalk you a little bit, Coach. I'm gonna blow your mind.
Okay, let's hear it, Justin.
I did some math. Look at me go. I did some math. I was looking back into history, of course, and saw the last 10 years, once the last 10 years of Winnemac softball. And heck, I tell you what, you ladies, you guys can win some games. I mean, holy cow. I knew that is what we've done. But I looked at it the last 10 years, haven't had one losing record, had 9 season, 15 or more winnings, and that's pretty awesome percentage. 4 seasons, Coach, with 20 or more wins in a season. And in those 10 years, Coach, this is where my math came in effect. In
Okay.
those 10 years, all those games, you guys have won 70% of your games. 70%. And
That's
I
pretty
think
good.
that's passing grade.
It is.
That's what I'm used to seeing on my report card, 70%. So, Coach, you guys know how to win. You guys are doing a good job the last 10 years.
Well, thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. I would say a few things about that. First of all, in the last 10 years, we've had a lot of good athletes. You know, we've had good pitchers, we've had good defense, good hitters. We've had all-state players in those last 10 years. We've had 3 Indiana All-Stars. So yeah, we've had some really good seasons in there. I will also mention that, and I know you hear this from a lot of coaches, I'm sure. 2020 we didn't get to play. But I'm here to tell you that in 2020, Lady Warrior softball was going to put more talent on the field in that season than any of the others that I've been a part of. We were just loaded, and
Right, I remember. Yeah.
and so and we didn't get to play. So, but yes, it's been fun. The kids that we've had has done a great job, and hopefully, our program continues.
Right, absolutely, and I guarantee it will, Coach. Of course, we mentioned our seniors, big gap to fill there for next year in Combs. Lindsay Walters, Corinne Combe, and Lauren Bruce there. Just 3 great seniors and 3 great players and human beings as well. And heck, you got a big chunk coming back, Coach, which is fantastic. I know you have a pretty good junior group there, and sophomore group and freshman group. Let's talk about your team a little bit, Coach.
Sure. You mentioned the seniors with Lindsay, Corinne, and Lauren. Just really, like you said, 3 good kids, 3 good softball players, good leaders, and really held our team together, really did a nice job of leading our team and keeping us cohesive and aiming toward the same goals. So those 3 kids deserve a lot of credit. As you mentioned, the kids we have coming back, we have some kids that can play ball and are honestly just fun to be around. That was the nice thing about this team. They're a good group of kids that you didn't mind hanging out with, from 3:30 to 5:30 every day, and then going to games. So that makes it a lot of fun. But some of our returners, we have a big class from this last season of juniors. We have Michaela Warner in center field. We had Brody Goodman playing first base for us. We had a couple sophomores that did great stuff for us. Maggie Keller at shortstop, and Adriana Hall, Roush, and Adri, did the job for us in the circle. And Brooke finished her junior season as well. So yeah, we got some kids coming back that we really feel confident in. That's for sure.
Absolutely, and they, heck, they really started to play really well towards of late there. Especially, I mean, I know we've mentioned her multiple times on the show, but the freshman Grace Roth,
Right.
she was starting to do really awesome things there towards.
Oh yeah. And especially like you said, Justin, for it being her first year of high school softball, boy, what a great year she had. She had to figure out how we do things. That's typically the transition for the freshmen as they come in. They've played softball before. They've played rec league or travel ball or whatever the case may be. And when they get to high school softball, they find out, oh, this is a little bit different. First of all, they aren't always used to practicing every day because you don't do that with rec league or travel ball. So getting all the time in the preseason, and then the thing that I think that's different with our sport is, once we start playing, there's not much time for practice. We just start playing games, and they have to adjust quickly. And I'm so proud of Grace and the season that she had, coming in as a freshman. And we figured she would help us, but I do have to say, we weren't aware that she was going to help us to the degree that she did. She just, the addition of her in the lineup really helped our offense. She really hits the ball well, makes great contact, and can drive in runs.
Yeah, I love it. I love it when you have a younger athlete stepping in and doing that stuff. Fantastic stuff, and I love to see her progress and do awesome things. Coach, well, you know, what got another year down for you, first year down for me on this podcast. I love every time having you join us. It's been fantastic to really dive deep into Winamac softball. Do you have any last words for us, Coach?
Yeah, Justin, I just want to thank you. Thank you for having the podcast. Starting something like this probably isn't easy, and I'm sure you had to talk Mr. Leverins into it, and you guys, put this thing together, and I just appreciate it. I appreciate any time that somebody's willing to give our Warrior athletes, some notoriety, give them some props for all the effort that our kids, all of our athletes have been putting in. So thanks for doing what you do. It's been fun.
Oh, it has been fun. I mean, this is enjoyable for me.
A good deal. It's a win-win.
Absolutely. It is fun. And heck, I did hear you on WKPI as well before sectional time. And
Yeah.
anytime you hear again, I don't think one of the main reasons why I did this podcast is I don't think our Warrior athletes and Warrior coaches are recognized enough. And that's why I wanted to do this. But it was awesome to hear your voice on the radio. That's for sure, Coach.
Well, thanks. Whenever I speak to you or on the radio or in some kind of media, honestly, my first goal is don't embarrass myself or my school. So hopefully I was able to accomplish that at least.
Oh, no, it's good. And the beauty about this, I can edit that bad boy out if you did. That has an F. You're good.
All right. Thanks.
Well, hey, Coach, I can't thank you enough. Once again, congratulations on a very good season. Super excited to have you back on next year. Talk about more softball, Coach.
I love it. That sounds great. Thank you.
All right, that was Coach Jen Belcher, our Winamac Lady Warrior softball coach. We will be right back. Hey, you're doing it. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Brady Wensler, athlete at Winamac High School, and you are listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome back to the Winamac Athletic Podcast today. Super thrilled to welcome back the head coach for our Winamac boys baseball team and Coach Mark Hendricks. How's it going, Hendricks?
Not too bad. Sun came up Sunday, so it's all good.
Yeah, a little bit warmer weather. Heck, baseball's, your season's over with, so heck, bring on the warmer weather, right?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, Coach, we got a lot to talk about. Your season. Talk about your season also before we do the recap of your 2025 season. Let's talk about sectionals that happened last Saturday, Coach. You guys traveled to Jimtown, take on Bremen. You guys lost to them 4-2, but let's talk us through that game, Coach, and what happened at Jimtown last Saturday.
Bremen, we knew Bremen was hot going in. They beat Rochester in 5 innings. They went to Logan and beat them, which is really impressive. I know they could play. Bill Ball gave me a really good scouting report. I couldn't get to see him play, but I felt like I did with what Billy had given me. And, Brody threw well. It wasn't his best game by any means, but he showed what a good pitcher is. He didn't have his A game Saturday, but he battled. He stayed in there for 7 innings and, gave us a shot to win at the end, and that's all you can ask. I know he was a little upset, but I was proud of him, the way he stayed in there and battled those guys. We were down 4-0 going into the 7th. We scored 2. We ended up with the bases loaded and 2 out with a full count. So everybody was running, and Addison was up, and he just ended up flying out to right. He did what he had to do there. He put the bat on the ball. Sometimes you find the grass, sometimes you don't. And he was really upset. And, I told him, Addison, you didn't strike out. You did what your job was to do, put the ball in play. We didn't find a gap. So, Matthias was basically standing on third by the time the ball got to the plate with a full count. So, we had a really good chance to tie that, or even, I think, go ahead. Because when we knocked their starter out, I really liked our chances against the guy they brought in. But, the kids rallied. And I told them that going into the 7th inning. I said, whatever you do, don't quit. This could be the last game of the year. Leave everything you've got out there. And they did that. I was really proud of them. Defensively, we didn't make an error all game, which I don't know if that's happened twice all year. We played really well. We just got beat, and not everybody's happy, but as a coach, those are things you can live with. Right. We didn't give the game away. We didn't do anything stupid. We just got beat. So everybody's going to end with a loss except for one team, and I felt good about that. I loved the way the kids hung in there and battled. We had our shot. We just didn't get it done.
I mean, like you said, Bremen was on fire heading into this game.
They were.
And you had beaten teams like you mentioned, Rochester and Logan Sport being on a winning streak like that, and us, I really felt like we were just one big hit away.
Yeah, yeah, we had a couple shots. It just wasn't Addy. Everybody had an opportunity in there, but it didn't happen. But defensively, that's about as well as we can play. I thought, Cash was out. Caden Runk got the start in right, which isn't new. Caden played the outfield all year, but he made a phenomenal play in the fifth or sixth inning, a diving catch right on the foul line. He made a couple other plays that the kids showed up. I mean, they were ready to play. Just like I said, didn't go our way.
Right. And real quick, Coach, I follow you guys a little bit, and I kind of want some more information on that. You have throughout the season, Coach, a pretty cool and pretty awesome, pretty good bat boy on your team. And we got to recognize him a little bit, because what he did was gifted your players with some pretty cool gear. You want to talk about that? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, are you talking about Miles? Yeah. I work with Josh. Josh played for me. Best hitter I've ever seen in my life in high school. And his son is 5. We thought this was the year he'd probably be ready to be bat boy if we kept an eye on him.
Yeah.
And man, was he was just like the inspiration to our team. It was crazy. Those kids loved him. They got excited. He couldn't make it to every game, and when he was there, they were all fired up. And he always wears the Spider-Man socks. He wears the uniform, but his pants pulled up so everybody can see his Spider-Man socks. Well, our last day of practice, Friday, he brought every kid and every coach on the team a pair of Spider-Man socks to wear on Saturday, and we did. And hey, we played pretty well. I might make that a thing going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, I have to mention that, because that looked like a pretty cool thing, not only for you guys and your players, but it's making an impact in his life. I guarantee it. A good memory for him.
Yeah, the kids insisted he was in our team picture. So did I. He wasn't a bat boy. He was our mascot. And
there you go. There you go.
It was cool having him around, especially coaching his dad. It was neat for me, and I know the kids loved it, so it all worked out great.
Pretty cool stuff. Well, let's talk about your team a little bit, Coach. You guys finished the year 15-12 overall. You guys were 11-5 in conference play, finishing third. And last year, last year you guys finished overall 10-10. The year before 8-16. So it's heading the right direction, Coach. I love it.
It is. This it's a big group to lose, though. Most of them been 3-year starters, so there's some holes to fill. Braden Mathias Braden is just a phenomenal shortstop. He'll make some errors, but then he'll make some plays that there's no way he should make. Addison has been kind of like the leader the whole year. Addie's, going on to play baseball. I think the biggest surprise for me all year was Peyton Attinger. And I knew Peyton could play and stuff. He'd never played second base, and he went in this winter and really worked at it. And he played just exceptionally well defensively all year. I would say he was my biggest surprise of the year. Really? Not at the plate. I knew what he'd do there, but defensively, he really worked to make himself a player. Eli Butka was kind of Peyton's backup, so he's in a bad spot because Peyton just played lights out the whole time. But, Eli worked really hard. When I put him in, he did fine. Cash, talk about a kid with bad luck. He's going to be really hard to replace. He came to practice Friday and he came to the game Saturday, and that was really important to us because he is like our energy. He brings energy with him wherever he goes. And we were really missing that when he was in the hospital, and he came back to practice Friday, and it might have been the best practice we had all year. And I thought we were going to play well Saturday, and we did. And then, of course, Brody Winsler. What a year. What a year. He worked so hard for it. I think he ended up second all time for single season strikeouts. I think he ended up with 8, and he worked so hard, and he deserves everything he got. Just a great group of seniors. In the sectional, we ended up starting 3 freshmen, and they all showed up. Hutch Martin made some great plays at third. He crushed the ball. It was just right at it, kid, but he smoked it. Xavier had a double, hit another ball hard, and Luke Clemens made some great plays at first base. So those freshmen, the stage wasn't too big for them. I know that. So that gave me a little glimmer of hope going into the next couple of years.
There you go. Yep. And I was definitely going to mention that freshman class. I mean, those 3 there that you mentioned, I felt like really stepping up this year. Hutch Martin, I mean, he looked like he definitely belongs there, especially with Adriano. I mean, he was behind the plate catching. He doesn't look like a freshman. He looks like a man back there. Every time I was on games, man, he was a big boy. He's getting bigger and bigger, Coach. I love to see it. You got a good class right there, freshman class.
They are. All 3 of those guys played great defense. Hutch hit in the four hole all year as a freshman, which is almost unheard of. He hit over 300. He's going to be a special player. And, I had some other freshmen that, they're right there. Like Cam Helton's right there. Tyler Rainford's right there. Liam Burton. We've got guys that are, they're ready to step up. And we'll just see what happens this winter.
Absolutely. And other guys like Will Malco stepping in there for you. mentioned
I can't believe I even forgot Will. Will's like John. John didn't play, till the end. And Will played his sophomore year, and Will has made himself a player.
Right.
I cannot wait to see how much better he gets from this year to next year, because he ended up this year a very good hitter, and he's so fast. If we can get him on base a lot next year, it's going to be fun to watch him.
Well, again, Coach, it was just a really fun to watch you guys out there battle it out in a pretty good season. Year 2, you back at it. I love to see it. You're not giving up again, right? Are you still at it next year?
Oh no!
Info?
As long as they'll have me, I'll be here.
Okay. I love it, Coach. But I appreciate your time. Do you have any last words or comments for us today?
Yeah, the only thing, I didn't get to talk about Cody Wheeler. Cody was my first baseman going into the year, but Luke Clemens just played so well there. He made some great plays. And Cody moved to the DH role, and, of course he was a pitcher. He was a really good pitcher. And sometimes that's not hard for guys to handle. Cody handled that really well. He ended up hitting like 340. So that was huge on his part. I know next year he wants to be in the field, and we're going to work hard to make that work. And I'm excited. We've got big holes to fill, especially pitching, but I'm excited.
Well, it's good then because you mentioned Wheeler. He'll probably be one of the big time pitchers for us heading into next year. So I can't wait to see him grow in that too. I felt like he grew from last year too.
He did.
In the pitching role.
He did, and hey, with Winsler and Addy and Matthias, it was hard to get them all split up, but I think he did a pretty good job. Cody got a lot more innings this year, and next year I think he will. If he comes in and works this winter with Mr. Ball, we'll get that breaking ball dialed in a little more, and he'll be pretty good.
Yeah, it's crazy. You see, you got old Coach Ball back with you, and that's pretty hearing him scout for you and doing some pitches for you. That's pretty cool.
He's been awesome to have. He'll do anything I ask as long as it doesn't take away from his golfing.
Oh boy.
So I worked around that, and he's been a huge help. Of course, Allred and Levi and Chad were great all year. I brought Chad Cook in the winter and spring to help with my catchers. And, it takes a lot of people. And I'm lucky to be where I'm at because I've got a lot of good ones around me.
Yeah, what year is this now? What year did you just complete? I forget. 500? 18. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like 500.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was close. Well, hey, Coach, I can't thank you enough. Thanks again for jumping on with me today, and another good year.
All right, thank you. Thanks for talking about our kid.
No problem, Coach. I was Coach Mark Hendricks, the head coach for our Winamac boys baseball team. Hey, you're doing it. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Sanders Foods. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it at your hometown grocery store. First Federal Savings Bank. They don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Riverside Rentals. Discover canoeing, kayaking, and lazy river tubing right here in Winamac. Action Plumbing and Heating for all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Been serving people since 1994. We would like to thank our sponsors for sponsoring today's show and being part of the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe. Go on!